This podcast provides a platform that will share many different points of views that should empower you, uplift you, make you want to go out and do right. When you hear the term still a man, say, yes, I am. Still a man. Yes, I am. Still a man. Yes, I am. Let's go.
What's up, people? Welcome to another episode of the Still a Man podcast. Tonight's topic, this is a bad one, you guys. We got Texas man accused of gang raping two toddlers, and we got some other videos to discuss as well. But again, I just got to tell you guys it's a very sensitive topic, so I want everybody to be empathetic. If it's too much for you, you can log out, come back in. But we're going to talk about this touchy subject because it needs to be discussed. We actually put one of the other topics on the back burner so we could discuss this because this is something that's relevant. It's happening right now. It's been happening. It's not just happening, but this is like news worthy. It's already been in the news, so we want to discuss it, and we're going to take these videos and we are going to dissect them as only we can do on the Still a Man podcast. All right. Again, so for you guys that will be watching this video, once it is uploaded, I'm gonna go ahead and ask you in advance to go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that like button, and let's get started. All right. We got Patsy in the house. We got Sean in the house. We got Tanya in the house. We got Robert. We got Gregory. We got Timmy. Is there anyone that I missed?
Nope.
All right, let's go. All right, so not too long ago, I'm gonna tell you, I said this is a touchy subject, and I'm gonna try to be politically correct as possible. But allegedly, this man, he works in a mall, and I want to be correct about this. And he was basically offering his services to mothers that work in the mall to watch their children so that they can complete their shift and have no worries about childcare. Unfortunately, this person, as all predators do, he preyed on these mothers' weakness, and the weakness is that they needed our childcare. And I guess they felt that this individual was a trustworthy person to do so, provide service. However, he proved to be otherwise. So according to news footage and the reports, this guy basically orchestrated this whole affair. So he got these people to leave their children with him, and then he called up some of his cohorts, some other demons, and they proceeded with a gang rape of these toddlers. What do you guys know about this? Let's go to Tanya first. Tanya, what do you know about this situation?
Watching the video was the first time I heard about it.
What'd you take from the video?
I took that it was really, really disgusting, and that there's too many people trusting their young children to go into the bathroom by themselves.
Patsy, did you see the video?
Oh wait, hold on. This was the one where the guy was babysitting.
Yeah, we're referring to the guy
To the security.
that's accused of basically orchestrating.
He's not a security guard. He worked in the mall.
He's getting,
Yeah.
Oh, so he was watching mall workers' children.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so that is really, really it's disturbing. Like you can't really trust people that you think you know, you really don't know.
Mhm. Patsy, was this the first, did you watch the video? And if so, was that the first time you heard about said issue?
Yeah, that's the first time I heard about that particular video. And it's really disgusting and ridiculous. And it's just sad, like, you got bullshit predators, men that take advantage, not just the trust that a mother would have over their children, like you taking that trust and running with it and abusing it.
Mhm.
And then you abusing that child by through abusing their parent. You're just not abusing the child itself, but you're abusing the trust of their parent. So it's a dual abuse thing.
And you know
You
what?
know, and they should pay the price in jail and then get some stuff cut off.
You know what? I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna correct something I said because I stand corrected. This is it's not a weakness of the parents. You know, they were seeking services, they needed assistance and childcare. So I'm not gonna say that that was a weakness, that was a need that someone took advantage of. I'll say that. I think that
Yeah.
fits the
That's why I said they abuse not just a child, but they abuse the trust that a parent has in them. So it's they're being abusive to two people in one family. You know, they might be abusing multiple children at one time or any given time.
Mhm.
But essentially, you're abusing the parent too because you're abusing their trust that they put into you.
Mhm. All right, let's hear from Tim. Timmy, did you watch the video? And if so, was that the first time you heard about this story?
Yeah, this is my first time. First time. And all I got to say to these dudes are broomstick. Each one of them. They can sit on you, bend that motherfucker over, sit on his back, shove the broomstick up his ass. And show him how it feels to be violated.
Hmm. All right, that's the way you feel. All right, Sean, did you watch the video? And if so, is this the first time that you heard about this story?
I did not watch the video, but I did hear about the story. And when I heard about it, I was very disturbed by it because, as you know, the other panelists have said, Patsy, that this guy took advantage of the trust that these parents had in him and watching their children. And, it's very unfortunate that, that we befriend people and because we like them at face value, we don't dig deep into who and what people really are.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was very disturbing to hear about this. So again, I didn't watch the video, but I did hear about this story. I want to say last week, Wednesday is when I heard about it.
Okay.
Those are wolves in sheep's clothing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
All right, Mr. Lacey, what about you? You brought this to my attention, you and another member of the panel. When did you first learn of this story, and how did you feel after viewing the video?
I think I learned it the same time as you, to be honest, because that was crazy. I never heard of that story before that time that the other panelist brought it to me, but he's giving me like a Ted Bundy type vibe. He's being charismatic and basically charming these people, making them believe that he's a good person. He could have watched their children, and this is actually the type of person he is. And I wanted to add the Uncle T's theory of the broomstick. That should be happening at least 3 times a day. And they should be castrated, if anything, because this
That's
is
what I
just
say.
ridiculous. And I hope they find the other culprits that was doing it too, not just the person that orchestrated.
Oh, they
Yeah.
got them all. They got all of them.
Well,
Cause he done told on them other 2.
we'll see. Hopefully, you know, they're all brought to justice. Robert, how do you feel about the video? And was it your first time hearing about the story?
It's just underwater shit though. You was talking real great when you didn't have the underwater.
Could you guys hear me clear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. As my name, Mr. Clearwaters.
It wasn't
I'm
that
going to
clear
come in and
just now.
say this. The man, and if it was 6 other or 7 others, I didn't watch the video because I've heard about the story, I think at the same time as you and Mr. Lacey from Rachel. My thing about the sick individual and his following, you know, his team players, I don't think this is the first time. I think that this is something that they've been doing for a while, and it just happened to get caught.
If you read the article, a relative of one of the victims, she left her kid with this guy too, and the same thing happened to her kid too. So I don't understand why the mother of the victim in this story even left her child with the guy.
Let Robert
could I continue? I mean, you know, I was letting y'all jump right on in there and then jump out. I have to say, some say that they should be having their private part cut off, a broom stuck up their rear. I think that this would be more pleasure for these individuals, because if they're sick enough to take your children in the bathroom and violate them in the worst way, I think that I said last week, a woman, if she does something wrong and the man does something wrong, you say cut it off. I say put cement in her vagina. I think these individuals need cement in their anal holes and cement in their penis holes and let them live like that for the rest of their life. Don't unclog it. Let all their waste just sit in them till they just burst and die.
Guys, yeah, this is worse than capital punishment y'all talking about. All right, let's see if Gregory. Let's watch that first video. Let's see what everybody's talking about.
Lemonade that hits harder for mics that go harder. The world needs more mics.
Hey everyone, I'm Anthony Antoine, and topping the rundown here tonight, an absolutely devastating story. 2 toddlers were allegedly sexually assaulted in a bathroom at the Galleria by multiple men. One of the men was a mall employee. Fox 26's Natalie He is joining us now live from the Galleria with the disturbing details. Natalie.
Well, Anthony, court documents reveal that there were up to 7 men involved in the sex assault. It apparently happened at one of the public bathrooms here at the Galleria Mall. And tonight, one local organization has an important message for parents.
The FBI has arrested Arthur Hector Fernandez III and charged the 29-year-old with sexual exploitation of children. Fernandez is pictured here on his private Instagram with the username allegedly Hector. His account was named in court documents that detailed the disturbing allegations that he and at least 6 other unidentified men sexually assaulted and raped a toddler at what appeared to be a Galleria Mall bathroom. Court documents say last month the Australian Center to Counter Child Exploitation reported 4 explicit videos found on the dark web to the FBI in which at least 2 toddlers ages 2 and 3 were filmed being sexually and verbally assaulted by multiple men at once. Relatives of the toddlers told investigators Fernandez was a friend and fellow Galleria employee who offered to watch the kids while they were at work at the mall.
I think as parents, you want to go with your gut, but also as policymakers, people need to start figuring out how do we make sure that we have safe environments for our kids so they don't have to, parents don't have to wait on a creepy uncle or a neighbor that they think is safe.
Dr. Bob Sanborn is the president and CEO of the organization Children at Risk. He says parents should look out for certain telltale signs that their child may have been abused.
Kids, after they've been out with someone who you thought you trusted them, they will sort of withdraw. They'll be more quiet. And so look for those changes in your children. Bedwetting, not eating, all of these things are sort of signs that something isn't right with your child. In this case, we're talking about toddlers. They really couldn't communicate. They didn't know what was right and wrong.
Now, Dr. Sanborn also suggests that parents remain vigilant about who they're trusting with their children, even if it's only for a few minutes or for a few hours. From the Galleria, Natalie He, Fox 26 News.
Massachusetts resident. All right, guys, let's dissect this. Let's break this down.
Participants left for
And again,
right parent.
let's be sensitive to the parties involved. And I'm talking about the victims. I'm not talking about the villains, the abusers, the offenders. I'm talking about the children and the parents. So, what was the ages again? 2 and 3 years old?
Yep.
And so what bothers me is if I'm hearing this correctly, so, an individual viewed this on the dark web in Australia. And
Yes, sir.
I don't understand why it had to be somebody from Australia. Let me be clear about this.
Australia.
I'm happy that someone thought enough of the situation to bring it to the attention of the proper authorities, but I'm a little bit baffled by the thought that how did this slip through, you know, the local and the authorities in that area like Houston and Texas and surrounding area? How did this not? Why did they think enough of the situation to be the first responders, so to speak, to the situation? I don't know, guys. You tell me about how you feel about that. Do you think that Houston local authorities dropped the ball in this?
I think the United States dropped the ball because why is only one person arrested? That doesn't make any sense.
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure
There were
they got
several
footage
people.
of these people walking in the bathroom.
Do we know that these people are still at large, or have they
They
been?
got the ringleader. He definitely telling on the rest of them because he ain't going down by himself.
Does anybody, Sean, do you know anything further about the situation?
I kind of
No.
expect it.
Go ahead, Sean.
No, I haven't heard about any other arrests. I know that they said that they were looking into these other individuals because what they have to do is identify them in order to find them. And not that I'm an expert on it, but if you followed any cases like this, because this is something that goes on all the time. The dark web, these people, although they may have their faces, they usually don't have. It takes a while to track down their names and where they're from and everything else like that.
Okay.
The other thing, unfortunately, is that most of the task force is from the federal level. A lot of the state entities don't give enough funding to the federal of the state agencies, that's the FBI and the states. They don't give them enough funding to have a task force to be surfing the web like that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how it can slip through the fingers.
But because this
where was this at though?
Houston.
Houston's a big fucking, they're rich state, sort of say. That's where the oil and everything is at. You know, so there's a lot of rich people in Houston, you know, so I can't understand them not having the resources of, unless they just don't give a care about the kids.
Yeah,
you know,
well, it's the resources and the leadership.
you know, because you take it, the big states like Houston, California, Chicago, Atlanta, all these big states are going to get the government funding for, you know, whatever they need. Whether those people that's getting the funding use that money towards the technology that they're supposed to get. Some of it don't go. Some of it go in their pocket. They just look at it free money, and then the investigators suffer because they don't have the technology, because the people who's in charge done took money from it.
So
that's what I'm saying. They don't. They definitely get it. It's just who's controlling it and who's doing the spending.
All right, let's give this some thought. How about this? Because this is an ongoing issue. This is not something that it's a one and done. This is a constant plague, I'm gonna call it, because it's constantly plaguing our nation. There's always these cases about sexual assault on children and stuff like that. And the web is a platform for this. So I don't understand why they don't do
because
situations police.
Here's what's going on, right? The people overseas, right? They get stuff from over here. They're not gonna, unless there's someone like that guy that reported it, right? Just the same as the perverts from here, they get a lot of child pornography from overseas, and a lot of child pornography from here goes over there.
So I want to be clear about this. Do you think the guy that reported said crime was surfing the dark web because he is a participant in watching kiddie porn, Robert?
It was the FBI from over there that ended up seeing it on their dark web.
So it was the FBI, but they said someone
alerted,
sent it to the FBI.
Someone alerted.
Someone alerted them. So if there's not a task force where there are people like policing or monitoring this this dark web, then this had to be a participant of the dark web that brought it to the authorities' attention. And that's to say that these individuals, these pedophiles, or people that are participant in.
Yeah, like what I was kind of thinking too on the same spot. It's like the person might have been just searching for porn, period, not thinking about child porn. But this particular video might have popped up in the
the
section
adult porn.
where he was looking.
Let me tell you,
Mm-hmm.
on all of those sites, they have a team of people working. They call they search for predators. So
Yes,
what happens is they're posed as a young person too.
yes.
They'll come on there out like they're 7, 13, 14
Sting
years old.
operation.
You'll be talking to them. They can even pose as a person that watch a lot of that porn and ask where could they get more from. That's the it don't always have to be FBI. It's people that go into business for themselves too. And then they turn you over to the proper authorities. So I'm not gonna say it was an accident because you got people that sits there on those sites almost all day, a team, and wait to bust someone.
Yeah, and I think like with the law enforcement, you know how like this they show Law and Order Special Victims. I think every task force, whether it's a local or the FBI, for the federal stuff, they should all have a specific task force just for any kind of sex assault, whether it's child porn or adults getting or teenagers getting assaulted, and they could come. But I mean,
just like you say, no things like that in the section. It's just like you say,
but not every law enforcement has a specific task force just for that, for the sex crime.
Okay.
Hey guys, I'm gonna give you guys something real quick. I recently watched a movie, and it was based on a true story, talking about what we're talking about, and it explained what we're trying to explain. It showed how they operate, and it was a movie on Prime Video that Amazon Prime, I'm sorry, that was called Sound of Freedom, and it was an agent who worked here in the United States in Texas, and he was working for, I think he was either CIA or I forget what agency. I apologize, but they do they have what we're all talking about. They have these sting operators, these operators who operate as like, we're trying to buy, because it was based on sex trafficking.
Yeah.
Sex trafficking of children. And I'm saying, pray yourself up, get yourself together before watching the movie. It's not anything gory, but you get an idea of what it is that is going on and how these individuals, like, we could be walking down the street every day not knowing who and what we're looking at, of individuals that move like this. If anyone takes the time to watch that movie, and when you look at it, you're gonna be just like, wow, this is what's going on every single day, every minute of the day.
So let me say this before you go any further. Sean, your phone is a little bit distorted, so you might turn the volume so we can hear you clearly.
Gotcha. Thank you.
All right, so you have more to offer? Sean?
I think he's trying to fix his phone.
You guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. Do you need me to repeat any of that?
Yeah,
or?
just give us a recap.
No, I heard what you said. You said this movie is basically really touching the system of the child trafficking thing.
Yes, which is kind of like even what this is all about, what we're talking about tonight. Because that's actually, because even though we have the kiddie porn, this and the other, it's now under the umbrella of solely, like, it's just everything is listed under sex trafficking now. And it was geared to what we're talking about, that this particular movie that I'm talking about was geared to sex trafficking, but it was of children.
Yeah.
And so it was showing all the agencies that are involved and what it is that they do and how they go about tracking down individuals. Because just because, like I said, just because they have the facial or the recognitions of individuals, it takes a minute to track these folks down because they're all over the place.
Right. You got it. It's like a ring. It's a
Nah,
ring.
they're like a
They,
cancer.
they,
Instead of
they,
these people cutting the
yeah.
cancer out, they letting them grow
Because
and do
they
things they
all
shouldn't
know
be
each
doing.
other. They know people overseas, and these people overseas know them, and they trading off, doing trade off and recruiting other people to be a part of their ring.
Yeah, because the 7 individuals went in that bathroom and did this to these children, these 7 individuals may not even live in that Texas area.
Nope.
It could be in Arizona, it could be over here in Massachusetts. It's just about it. Like, you see, the crime was committed here, but you got to try to track them down and figure out. And then when you get them, if they're not in the database system, because just because authorities have a video of individuals. I mean, how many times have we seen, hey, if anyone recognizes this person, this da 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 da, that's what they're working off of.
They done already fled.
Which is crazy because that means, once again, this isn't the first time that he's done this, and
not at
they
all.
already said that's not the first time that he watched their kids. So this probably is just the first time he got caught.
Yeah, but
he probably already had them up on the dark web because he knows he watched these kids.
So let me
again. It's been, you done seen it. You seen it with the upper block nonchalance do it. They've been doing it, keeping it undercover. Now it's starting to come out. So this ain't nothing new. This is stuff that's been going on for centuries now. This sex trafficking stuff. This been going on for centuries now. Some of it is just getting more notoriety and being, wide camera lens out on it now because because of the nonchalance of getting caught up into it. A lot of women are starting to come out, and so this paved the way because for them to go and target the teenagers or the younger kids, toddlers, and because they can't speak for themselves like the grown women can, they can hold them for 10, 12, so they get them at a certain young age, and if they can hold on to them for a long time before they decide they're done with them, or just up and leave them and be like, or got them all strung out on drugs and whatnot, and just up and leave them, put her out like she's trash, So that's what going on.
All right, so let me bring you guys back to this. All right, so when something like this happens, it's only natural that everyone's looking to blame someone. So they want to point the finger at someone. And it's quite obvious that the children are not to blame, because anybody that fixes their mouth or has a thought that want to blame these children, you're part of the problem to begin with. There's something wrong with you if you think that the children are.
The blame goes on the perpetrator. The parents are going to blame themselves because they feel like they was fooled into trusting this person. That's where they're
Parents
going
have
to
a
be
bad
feeling
judge of
like
character.
they feel their kid and all that, right? But the one who's in the wrong and the one who should be, feeling ashamed and sorry, but not because the only thing he's sorry is because he got caught. That's the only sorry thing that he is.
All right, Patsy, who do you think is the blame in this situation?
The perpetrator. The person that's actually doing the molesting, because the child didn't ask, at 2 or 3 years old, even 5 or 6, that child, most children are not thinking anything sexual like we do as an adult or even as a teenager. When teens are kind of like, they're exploring their sexuality, so yeah, but still it's like they're more exploring in their own age range. But under 10, it's like they're really not thinking on a sexual premise like we do as an adult.
Unless they've been pre-exposed to this type of deviltry, and someone that already violated them and robbed them of their innocence. Because that's when that happens.
Right. I'm talking about like children that have not been exposed. They do not have that mindset. They don't even think on that intellect. And as far as like anything sexual, the most like at that age they'll talk about anything sexual. It's like why boys different than girls? Like why do they have a different sex organ? Why does he pee different than me? That's as far as their mindset goes when it comes down to sex organs.
Okay. Tanya, who do you think the blame falls on in this situation?
I gotta log out for a second, y'all.
Robert, who do you think the blame
just had to come to me. I'm gonna tell you like this. I can't stress enough that you have to do background checks on these people. I don't care if your friend told you this was a good idea. This babysitter had took care of my kids for 2-3 years now, and he's been doing a wonderful job. What she or he might not know, he's been doing it to their child already, and their child has suppressed it, had kept it quiet because they might be scared, thinking that it's all their fault. They might not know how to tell because they're so young. I just think that mom's dad, you working in this spot, you have a man that so-called work for this mall, and he's being a babysitter to whoever's children. That don't mean you should just up and jump and say, let me leave my kid with him too. Even if I knew him for 2 months, I have to find out what country he came from, what city he lives in. Is he up on the wall as a?
He seems so nice.
No. That's like candy tasting so sweet. No, you got to see if he's up on the wall for being a sex offender. You really have to do a serious background check. And if it's gonna take you that much work to do, then you're trusting within that person anyway, and you might as well look elsewhere. I can't blame moms or dad all the way, but I'm saying do a little bit more homework. The mall, you hired this person, you should have did a background check too, if this person was working for them. But all the blame goes on to the person, the perpetrator that's sitting here taking advantage of these innocent children. So yes, it would be on the perpetrator.
Okay, Gregory, how you feel about it? Do you think that the blame lies with the predator or the parents?
I think the blame definitely lies with the predator and his parents and the parents of the person that it was perpetrated against, because they should have did a deeper background check, like Uncle Rob was saying, even the mall. So I'm gonna blame society because they shouldn't even feel comfortable enough to do this type of stuff. This is why these people should be executed. This is why these people should be castrated. People shouldn't feel comfortable with taking toddlers in a bathroom to be gang raped. That sounds ridiculous.
Because it is. It's sick. Sean, who you think the blame lies with, the predator or the parents?
The blame, they solely share responsibility because at the end of the day, they let the children down.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I say it like that is that the predator, we give him the obvious reasons why he's responsible because he's the one who's doing the damage, the most damage, the physical damage, and to where the parents, I'm holding them responsible because, excuse me, I know that times are hard and this and that and the other, and because you think that someone is who they're not, excuse me, they we're too trusting, and we're too trusting with the most valuable thing and people to us,
Which are the children.
yes.
So stay right there, Sean, because I want to present another question before we move on. So someone said they blame the establishment, the mall as well. So I want to stay there. I want to talk about that because do you think it should be policy that all potential employees have a background check to make sure they're not any sex offenders when working in these public places? Let's just say public places, period, like malls, eateries, clothing stores, things of that nature, the movie theater, Disney World, anything, the zoo, anything with children can be present, younger, older.
My answer to that is, I believe that is in place. It's a matter of, these individuals are that if they have not been caught and been registered, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, that's the whole purpose of the Corey check.
Right.
It's to check your background, your history background of any kind of arrest or felonies or whatever. But if you have never been charged as a sex offender, that will never show up on your Corey as it is.
Right.
And this is why you should have like an Army intensive background check where you get a psych evaluation too.
Yeah, I mean,
to make sure that your head's on your shoulders right before you be around kids.
I think somebody watching children needs somebody watching them.
Always.
Yeah,
but
camera.
But my other thought on that too, right? Like, I know, like they have like vouchers for lower income parents that need childcare, and also the mall systems should also look into having a daycare setting on site for the parents that do not have childcare.
Exactly.
For their children.
That was my second question, but before we go there, Sean.
But the crime happened in there. The crime happened in the mall, so
That's not what I'm talking about. The crime happened because the parent did not have childcare whatsoever. If there was a mode of transportation for that parent to have childcare on site without depending on some other coworker or somebody else that also worked in the mall as something else like the janitor or whoever this person was.
I think that's a great idea, Patsy. Sean, I'm gonna let Sean go ahead and answer that too. So my question is, and Sean, you can finish answering what you was if you was trying to finish answering the last one. So I'm gonna say do you, because I believe that is a good idea, Patsy, because that's what I was gonna say. Do you think it's a good idea for these malls and other establishments like such to have, did it be mandatory that they have on-site childcare for their employees?
I don't think so, because if you do that, then that would force other organizations to be for, because now you're forcing them to provide a service that they're not signed up for.
But
you know what I'm saying? It becomes something completely different. It goes beyond what we're talking about, because you just said, should they be forced to have childcare? But then if you do that to the mall, then why can't your regular 9 to 5 provide childcare for you? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, trust me, I believe that all employers should have that. If the basis, if the majority of your staff has toddlers or day camp age children that need child care, I think that there should be some type of grants to go out to those establishments so that they can basically procure and secure child care, because I think that it would do a number of good things. It benefits the agency and it benefits the parents and the children, because now it rules out those situations where parents can't come to work because they don't have child care. It rules out not having people that are supposedly qualified to deal with children. Not saying that we don't have those individuals, those predators that still slip through the loops and get in there. I'm just saying, if we had these things in place, then we could avoid some of these situations. Like, this individual wouldn't have been walking freely through the mall with these children and been able to take them to the bathroom. I would even dare say, I think they need to put monitors in these bathrooms.
No, what they need to
You
do.
can't do that in the
You can't
bathroom.
do that.
What they need to do is this.
But
See what
I
you just
will
said
say,
there, David?
Hold on, guys. Not all at
You
once.
see
Go
what
ahead.
you just said there, David?
Yeah.
Where you just said something about, they should have monitors in the bathroom. Now, this is a public place to where there are and so you're infringing on the rights of those that are coming to this establishment. What you're suggesting that these malls and other jobs do, as far as they should provide daycare or facilities for their employees, you're infringing on their business practice, because that's not what they signed up for. They didn't go out seeking employees that have a bunch of that have children that they can't afford daycare for them. That's not what I hired you for. That's not even really my concern. So you can't force me to take on that.
No, well,
Can I say this? The government.
Hold on.
No, Keanu's in the house.
All right, so hold on. Keanu, thank you for joining us. All right, so I had several different people trying to chime in at once. Tanya, I'm gonna come right to you next after Kiana, so don't lose your thought. I want to pull Kiana into this discussion because she hasn't been a part of the discussion, and then we're gonna come right back to you. Okay, Tanya?
okay.
All right, go ahead, Keith.
Well, I mean, the mall can get around that because they are leasing properties. The people are not the mall employees. They are, let's say, Macy's employee or Foot Locker's employees. So they can't really enforce a babysitting policy on these stores. Maybe they could as part of their lease, but then they wouldn't get people to buy into that, because I'm not going to pay you for your daycare or for your services. Technically, I should be paying you more, but I'm not going to pay you more. So that's your problem, not my problem.
Oh, now stay right there, because I wanna be clear about something. Tanya, I'm gonna go right there. So when I say that the mall should be responsible for providing the child care, meaning the daycare agency. I'm not saying that they should that all the employees should receive these services free of charge. I'm saying that yes, there should be they're gonna have to pay because they're gonna have to pay somewhere else. But in this situation, they come to work, they drop their kid off at the daycare that's on site, then they can get their kid when they're done with their their shift. So that's what I'm saying in regards to that. I'm not saying people should receive free daycare.
I'm not saying it's free or not. I mean, that would be nice, but again, that's like saying again, the mall as itself, it has its own employees, but they don't employ any of those businesses.
Right.
Those 50, 60 stores or 30 stores that's in their building, they don't employ those people. They basically lease.
They paying rent. Yeah.
Rent.
All right.
So
sorry, guys, that wouldn't be fair to Tanya. Tanya, go and jump in there.
No, what I was gonna say is that some of these companies can offer that because my friend, she worked for a financial company that they did offer childcare at their facilities for their employees. They had to pay, but they still offered the childcare.
Right, by choice. They weren't
can I
forced
also
to
chime
do
in?
so.
More and more companies are having to do it because they're not getting the employees that they want, and they know that they have to invest in childcare. But right now, that's not the norm. It's more of the exception.
But why don't we get ahead of the ongoing problem, so to speak? Because see, you can
spend money if you don't have to yet.
But see,
because the government funds a whole bunch of other stupid stuff that we don't even know about. Why can't you implement this into a system and it's gonna help the children around the world? Well, around our country.
But they're
improve our
in the
country.
business of making money. You know, their employees, kids is really not.
The government's gonna get paid anyways off the land. You just heard everybody say that the people that's employed there are renting out their spaces. Who you think they're paying?
I mean, you're gonna. It would be in your best interest to bring this into because they have all this like mall space. You know what I'm saying? You go into some malls, right? They have empty store space, so they can put these daycare sites right in there.
Right there. Because the part of the reason why I made note of it is because when I used to be in daycare, and the particular daycare that I worked for in Boston, they literally had a lot of sites at different hospitals, or they had a site that was like hospital based, where like 3 or 4 different hospitals like over there in like the Longwood area. They were like Boston's Children's, Beth Israel, Brigham and Women's. We would have children of parents that worked in those particular hospital. They have a site over there where Tufts Medical lives and stuff, so the hospital itself offered the daycare. Now, mind you, that it's not free to the parents, but it's a service that is offered to the parents, and that's why I may know, like, maybe this is a service that should be offered by the
mall.
By the mall to whoever is leasing a space in that particular mall. That way, it should be covered underneath their lease. So if you hire employees that actually have children with no childcare,
they should make it a policy in the building planning.
Childcare.
Robert,
Was you calling my name or you calling someone else's?
I called your name. You just happened to be talking at the same time. Go ahead and jump in on that.
Okay. If they was gonna do such a thing in these malls, just saying if they was going to, I think that the walls should be all glass. I think that they should have a code that each parent gets to punch in their phone to be able to see inside the daycare at all times while their child's there. I think that if there's a bathroom run outside that daycare period, which I know there's gonna be one inside daycare, those for all safety reasons, people whose kids that's in that daycare will use the bathroom that's inside the daycare. But I think it should be see through where you can walk past and see how they're treating these children inside there. I think every parent needs to have a code that they're punching on their phone so they can view their children being taken care of throughout the day, all day long while they're at work, if they choose to monitor their children. But for the people that's coming into the mall, period, that's using the bathroom, I believe there should be a security station set up in that area where there's not only a security guard there, there's a camera overhead, not inside the bathroom, maybe 6 steps, six feet before you step through that door, where you can see at all times woman and man walking there with a child. If they did foul play, at least you have them on camera. You got their identity at least, so you can look for these people. I think at the same time, at his, I don't know if it's discretion or whatever, he will make the right call. Hi, how's it going today? You taking your child to the bathroom, such and such. You like, how you and mommy getting along in this mall? That's not my mom. And then he can take it from there. You have to do something a little bit different, and without trying, you're not making change.
I agree. We have to think outside the box because the world we're living in.
I got an idea for Uncle Rob. Hold on. What about a kid's bathroom?
Hold on, Gregory. What I was saying was, I agree with Rob, but I think that our approach has to be outside the box. Can't be traditional because we're not dealing with individuals that are playing by the rules. So why should we? I mean, it might cause people a little bit discomfort at first, but the world we live in today, it's all about making people uncomfortable under the guise they're trying to make people more comfortable.
It happened with us when we was coming
just
up.
Just the kids' bathroom where it's monitored anyway.
But can I make a comment on that with the children's bathroom?
One at a time, guys.
Yeah.
You know what it is? I think because they move away from teaching the kids about stranger danger and all that. They moved away from that. When we was coming up, they made it a mission to, inform us and educate us about not talking to strangers and don't go with somebody that's offering you candy and all that. They moved away from that. So now the kids is like, oh, this person, I know him for a long time. He's really nice, and I'll go with him because my mother knows him.
All right, hold on, Tim. Patsy.
Okay, as far as the daycare itself goes, like from my personal experience, by working with the daycare here in Boston, all the employees that worked in the daycare, we had a code to get to go into the daycare, and then we had our own personal code to punch in and out with. And then also the parents that actually had children in that daycare, they had a code to punch in. And if you were to come into the daycare and you didn't have that code, you weren't a parent that were paying for the childcare there, you would actually ring the bell and be allowed in, and they'll ask you why you're there and blah, 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 blah. So you can't just easily walk in the daycare. And not only that, like as far as like the children's bathrooms, like each classroom has like the toddlers and preschool has bathrooms they self like for to potty train, or like the toddler room that's really where they potty train. And then preschool has their own bathroom for the children's side. And they have an adult bathroom for the teachers. So like if you had to go to the bathroom and you needed like someone like the director, assistant director, or the any supervisors that worked in the daycare, you could call and ask somebody to cover you to go to the bathroom or whatever, you know.
Okay, so
Where you just can't walk into the daycare, and then they have like of course like we had changing tables for the infant program, you know.
So before we
you just can't walk in there.
So before we go ahead, move forward, let me just be clear. Thank everybody for their insight and their views on this, their perspective. So let's before we go to this next video. So everybody, let's be clear about this. What we're talking about right now, believe it or not, upon someone viewing this is probably going to be a discussion somewhere else where they start talking about having either optional child care services for mall workers on site, or it's going to be mandatory, or even in a situation where there's going to be monitors in the bathroom, like attendants. You know how you see in these excuse me guys, these high class place, these classy establishments, there is someone in the bathroom. Like you see in some of the movies, like they're offering you a cloth, a mitt, stuff for situations like that. Now, again, I don't know what type of establishments you guys been in. Everybody's grown, so you've probably been somewhere a time or two, or you heard about something like that. That does exist. So, if the worst case scenario, this will be creating other employment opportunities for other people, like childcare in the mall, security in situations like that. So let me just be clear about this, because everybody watches the internet and stuff like that, and YouTube and things like this. Someone's probably going to take these very ideas that we're talking about, and they're going to present it to somebody that's going to have more than a discussion about it. People just going to be able to bring these ideas to our fruition. But Gregory, we got another video, but let me go ahead and give you guys a little segue, a little background information. So we got this pastor, and I think it might be in Houston. Oh my God, Jesus, please give Houston an anointing.
Pastor John Gray.
But this individual, they said he raped this little girl over 600 times for a decade or more. And this is just like, again, this is like disgusting. Now, again, I'm not gonna sit up here and try to act like we don't know that this happens in today's society. It's been, like Timmy said earlier, this has been happening for quite a long time, but we're supposed to be evolving, becoming more civilized. Why are we still being plagued with behavior like this? Why is this still being tolerated? But
the only thing that's evolving is the next victim of choice.
Ooh, that's sad. Sad, but there's some truth to that. Gregory, do you got that video ready? Mr. Lacey?
Zoom meeting.
To a very disturbing story. A local pastor is in jail accused of sexually assaulting a family member several hundred times. Court documents say it happened in parking lots in two local churches. ABC 13's Giovanni Ligi is live from the Harris County Jail tonight, breaking down everything we know. Giovanni?
Well, court documents showing the sexual assault started when this little girl was just 7 years old. It lasted for almost a decade, and at one point, he even got her pregnant.
Mother.
39-year-old Robert Carter is the man police said sexually assaulted his own family member. Documents showing this happened over the span of a decade, at least 600 times. Now he's in jail for continuous sexual abuse of a child. Court documents showing the victim told police the assault would happen almost nightly. And when she turned 16, the documents showing he got her pregnant. The documents showing she had the baby in a closet, and he then took it to a nearby fire station. Some of the details in these documents are too graphic to show. Investigators accusing Carter of doing this at multiple locations. It started in 2008 when the child was only 7 years old. He would offer to give her candy in exchange for sexual acts. Investigators saying he would do this when other family members were sleeping, telling the child if she told anyone, nobody would believe her. The victim telling investigators it would happen at the church he worked at in Sunnyside, in the back of this Summerwood HEB parking lot before he would take her to school, and when she was older, at another church nearby where she refused. The documents showing that he told her if she didn't do what he asked, he would make her life a living hell. And now, more than a decade after this assault started, Carter is here in jail, held on a $100,000 bond, due back in court tomorrow.
All right,
Participants.
I'm gonna let the ladies go first about this. Tanya, you still with us?
Yep.
Patsy, you still with us? Kiana?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right, ladies. I know this is sensitive, so I want y'all to don't hold back. Tell us how you really feel about this situation. Let's go to Patsy first.
That is just sick. Like, how do you like rape one of your family members? You know, it's like, I don't know if he's the uncle or cousin or whatever, but still, he's old enough to know better and to know that shit is wrong. Why are you gonna manipulate this child and then twist it up? Be like, oh, they're not gonna believe you if you tell. Like, obviously, like by that age, most parents are telling the child, you know, you're old enough to take a shower by yourself and bathe by yourself, right? So unless you're going to the doctor and they're checking those parts, no one in the world should be touching you on your private areas. So therefore, you should, if they do, you need to let me know as your parent. And stuff. Because if the child is uncomfortable, then you're making them uncomfortable. And as a child, you should know, you should be able to at least trust your parent to protect and be able to come to and talk to. Because like something like that, I'm sure like when I was 7 and 8, like, if there was something wrong at school, my mother would always tell me, like to tell her. And luckily, nothing like in that S.A.M situation. That never happened, but I had other situations, with teachers that I had to say something to my mom, but sexual assault is not okay for you to do upon a child. Then you got her pregnant on top of that after years. No.
Tanya, go on and weigh in on this.
It's totally disgusting. He's gonna burn in hell because he's fronting as a pastor, working in a church, using the Lord. Oh my! I'm just at a loss of words. Like, where's her mother or her parents? This is why you have to know to be a discernment of spirits, because anybody can come to you and tell you that they believe in God and they they're a warrior for God. But if you don't know God's spirit and you don't know his character, that is a demonic act what this person done.
It's predator.
Yeah.
Predator it's Predator 101. That's like the foundation of them. That's what they do. It's what they say the enemy comes to
steal, kill, and destroy.
That's right, and that's what they do. They kill, steal, and destroy the child. They basically they murder their innocence. They take that all away. It's terrible. It's a terrible thing. Kiana, give us your perspective.
You have to feel really sad for this girl. That basically she was grown in a lion's den at 6 years old. So he groomed her to make her, by the time she could speak, she was afraid to speak. So why would she speak up? You telling me somebody's touching me, but you telling me that nobody's gonna believe me. And he might have even probably most of them always use death as some kind of hold over them. Gonna, hurt your mother, hurt your father, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he's a despicable person. To definitely, he would be the last person that somebody would look at. Maybe a leader of a flock, or who people believe and trust with their, deepest, most innermost thoughts and secrets and feelings. And you as a family member, if you're living in a house, you would believe that everybody in your house believes and feels what you feel, but definitely you're off. And the mere fact that this happened like almost every day for damn near 10 years.
For 10 years. Yep, decade.
Can I just add to this as well, is that we all have a purpose on this earth, and you can measure what God's plan is for your life by the attack from the enemy. So God has something great for her to do, because this enemy attacked her at her most innocent part of her life, and every day, and he's supposed to be a pastor, so it's like he was trying to crush her spirit. So if she ever got to a point where she could want God in her life, why would she trust him?
Well, that's what the enemy comes to do, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's just so mind-blowing. Well, that makes me so angry.
All right, Sean.
And I was gonna say he's a despicable, disgusting man, and when his day in hell is, I hope he burns eternally.
Hold on real quick, because here on this platform, I'm telling y'all, I'm really not trying to give these imposters that distinction. I'm not going to label that person a man. He might have been born a male, but I'm not going to label him a man. That's not a man. A man does not don't do that. They don't do that. A man does not abandon his responsibility of family. This person has a responsibility to the congregation, that child first as a family member, and he's supposed to be a representative of God. I'm not gonna give that individual that distinction. Not here. But Sean, you was gonna say something?
I mean, I feel like the ladies do on a panel like this is horrible. Like, how do you take the innocence of someone at such a young age, and then for as long as he was doing it for? And then, like, my thoughts are, what is she now today? How does she cope, and how does she live her life as because she's like a young lady now.
Yeah.
Like, how does she go about her day to day now, being that it was so torturous all those years. And then there's an element in this story to where there's a child out there that belongs to her.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and it's yeah, this is the worst.
Please, Jesus, don't let this baby that was born out of that situation be subjected to what her mother was subjected to. Please make sure that cycle stop right there and it doesn't go any further with the child. Amen.
Amen.
I'm sorry, Sean. Go ahead.
Oh, that was good. That was a good ending to my statement. I'm good.
Timmy, how you feel about that individual?
Yeah, he's a wolf and she's clothing.
Yep.
He uses the word of God, the you know, the whole image to be a predator. And a lot of them are that way because they, you know, parents bring their kids to, they can't control them. They don't know what to do with them, so they bring them to the preacher or the pastor and have the pastor talk to them. Now, it's one thing you have the pastor talk to them, but it's another where the pastor is doing house calls and whatnot. He wants her to come in every day and all that. You know, that's where I draw the line and be feeling like something's going on. You spending too much time with the pastor, you know. But the evilest thing that he did, and he knew he was wrong for what he did, right? When he got her pregnant. So he had her, she didn't go to no hospital and had no damn baby. She had the baby in the bathroom.
No, closet.
Well, in the closet. She had the baby in the closet. He fucking hurry up, wrapped the baby up, took the baby to the fire department, you know, and told them they're not going to question him, you know, because he's a pastor. And all he can say, oh, I just found this baby. You know, they're not going to ask no questions. You deliver a baby to the fire department. They're just going to take the baby and give it to the proper authority.
Had a safe haven law for the babies.
Mm-hmm. And this demon has children of his own too. Robert, you want to give us your perspective?
So you take this individual, grab him by his tie, tell him now, you know what's coming, and you give him 6 slaps real hard down the middle of his face. Then you take a branding iron, make sure you heat it up nice and hot, where you can see the red ash on the 3 6s. And you branding this animal. And then you take all his clothes from him and you throw him in the cage with gorillas and let them have their way.
Gonna eat his ass. They're gonna eat his ass up. They're gonna tear him apart. He's gonna be lunch for him.
Well, if such a fate befalls him, it's probably more than deserving. Mr. Lacey, let's get your perspective on this heathen.
I just think that he should have somewhat of a biblical punishment, stoned to death, burnt on a stake, stuff like that. He needs to be made an example out of because of the things that he portrayed to be.
That's why when they looked in the cage with the gorillas, ripping them apart, pounding on them, raping him, throwing them all around the cage, that's some punishment that you might don't want to see.
Well, see, that's the nature of the beast. So
Yes, he's
it
acting like an
wouldn't actually
animal.
be rape in that situation with them. That's an animal. That's the difference between animal
Yes,
and man. You supposed
yes, some real animal. He want to act like an animal. Put him with the animals that would destroy him.
Mm, mm. Okay, so again, we got another video, Gregory.
Yep.
All right, so you want to give people like a segue? You want to give them some background about this next video?
Go right into it.
Bless you. Thank you.
Gregory?
This next video is about this guy who basically kidnapped this girl and he was selling her. I believe I gotta watch it again myself. I haven't watched it.
All right, so just go. All right, guys,
Yes.
get your phone and
Cue it up.
commentary. Go ahead, Gregory.
Zoom meeting.
I thought he was going to kill me. I literally thought I was going to die for many years. I had to sleep with his friends. I had to be ready whenever he wanted to.
He would sell me to paedophiles. There would either be physical violence, there would be threats of things, so threatening to burn down my house.
Their stories are difficult to listen to, but for decades in Telford, they and the abuse that hundreds of children suffered was ignored by police officers and social workers.
Nobody even told me that he'd committed a crime. They just told me it was domestic violence and nothing that they could do about it.
Scarlett and Holly were both groomed, raped and trafficked from the age of 14.
The police would drive past me, they would see me walking around. I've been in cars that had been stopped and searched. They never even took my name. They never took any of my details. They weren't interested. They just told me to get out and walk home.
The inquiry concluded that more than 1,000 children were exploited in Telford going back to the 1970s. Obvious exploitation was ignored by the council and police despite teachers and youth workers reporting it. Children were blamed for their own abuse, and there was a nervousness about investigating Asian perpetrators for fear of inflaming racial tension. It meant that the degradation and violence here was passed down through generations. Abusers considered it normal, teenage victims thought it was inevitable. In recent years, 10 men were jailed, but the council and the police all but scrapped their specialist teams to save money. How can you possibly rebuild public trust now?
Firstly, by apologising. I want to say very clearly that we are sorry. We're sorry for failing to adequately protect.
Has anything really changed? I mean, as recently as 2018, one of your superintendents was saying there's no discernible problem in Telford.
Things have changed. So we failed to appreciate the scale of the problem, and much of the report touches on that, and failed to put in place a quick enough response in terms of investigation.
3 abuse victims are known to have died. Lucy Lowe's abuser burned her house down. She was 16. Becky Watson was hit by a car after being groomed from the age of 11. And Vicky Round died in a drugs incident after the same gang got her addicted to cocaine at 12. Tonight, survivors like Joanne, who was criminalised for being a child prostitute, welcomed the report.
Nationwide, it highlights the struggles that girls and young women have in terms of victim blaming and being labelled prostitutes, and the misogyny that's embedded in with that.
The report makes clear that child sexual exploitation is still happening in Telford, but says the authorities tackling it are, at last, well equipped. But it questions why they took so long to react when so many children's lives were being blighted.
Participants
All right.
running break.
That's got an
Wanna go to first?
international backlash and appeal. So again, like we said, this is happening all over the world, just not in America, just not in our towns, not in our cities.
That town sounds crooked in a whole. I think that, this is my opinion, I think that, the police and whoever else was working with them, and the people that was kidnapping the teenagers, selling their bodies to other people. I think they all was in on it together. I think that it was a money thing. I think that's why they turned a blind eye and they didn't do too much. Cause it sounds like they said it was 2018. He said it changed. In his voice, it just sounded like nothing changed. Sound like you're lying.
Yeah, I agree. I believe they're part of the problem. So Kiana, you said something earlier about these individuals grooming them till they get to a certain age. These it's almost like that's like a in that situation that's like a Stepford town, where everybody it seems like everybody it was the norm, and to deviate from it, then you became the problem. Anybody that saw anything wrong with what they was doing, including the victims, you got they burning the houses down of the abused if they try to step away from the abuser. You got children being run down the street um by vehicles. And then what was the other situation? You got the kids dying of overdoses and stuff because they already got them strung out on drugs and stuff like this. Again, it's like the I don't know where the supervision is from the parents in these situations. Now I don't claim to know, that how that town is run, how that state or wherever that is run, but it's like parents don't have no say no more with their children. Yeah, how you feel about that video?
I think it's just, I mean, basically a whole town turned their, I mean, again, it's not, um, unbelievable because, women and girls are never believed and listened to. So it's amazing that a whole town could just be silent to like their increase of children or girls being sex prostitutes. That makes sense. I mean, the town can't be that big or city or whatever. It's just crazy. I just don't understand it. And even when they inquired about the former chief who's like, oh, there's no problem. I hope he's still not working because there is a problem. And if you're shown a problem and you double down that there's no problem, you're the problem.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
big part of the problem.
No, he's not part of the problem. He is a problem. If
He's
you
a
have the
part of
people
the
under you
he's
and
a
you're
part of
not
the
doing
team.
anything about it, you are a big problem.
I think that he's a part of the team. They was
Oh,
all benefiting from it.
I don't not believe that it was intertwined in their policing. I wouldn't be
Believe it.
surprised if some of them people are getting a cut, either the money or the sex or both. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me that there will be corruption and at the base of it too.
Could I say this thing?
You seen
Hold on, Timmy.
You remember there was this saying, Timmy, you know it too. There was this saying, because I used to ask my uncle this. When a woman or a girl say no or they're not interested in you, you rape them. And what their answer would be, it was no such thing as goddamn rape. And this is what this town's all about. The people that was committing the rape and molestation, they don't believe that they're doing anything wrong. They believe that these girls and these young girls and young women are there to be violated.
It's definitely
they
something to look
easy to
into.
take advantage of. Now you see it here that the Bravo down there downtown, and you know who? There was nobody. It was no ordinary people. These was damn judges, congressmen, big name people, politicians, judges, and lawyers, and all of them that's involved, that's paying to have sex with these young Asian girls and whatnot. So it ain't. It's just that it's always been that thing where they just seem like it's okay to take advantage of the young girls or take advantage of toddlers and whatnot. It just seems like they just believe that it's okay. It ain't nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, in this situation, those individuals, their power makes them strong, and that's why those people, the young women that are being abused, are weak. They're considered to
It
be.
sound like that they living in a town that's being run by the cartel.
Yeah.
I
Cartel
was gonna
mafia
say that
something.
town might thrive off of sex trafficking. So they're grooming these kids at a young age to get them ready to be human trafficked.
So you saying that's
to
what
be like the Chinese girls downtown.
that's what's funding the town, the sex
Yes.
trafficking.
That's why I said it's something to look into, because it's a lot of cities like that outside of America, and then there's some cities like that in America.
Mm-hmm. Right up under our nose. Sean, you want to say something?
Just excuse me, echo what everyone else is saying. It's very interesting that a whole entire city or town, whatever it is, it might literally is just a way of life. It seems like for them, this is what happens here.
Tanya?
Yes.
You want to give us your views on that situation? You want to give us more?
Oh, other than it being ran by the cartel?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it sounds like to me. It's really just sad. It's really sad that these young ladies got to go through situations like this. And plus, it's like somebody said that women are insignificant in these towns, and they look at them as cash cows.
Definitely cash cows. I think we got one more video, and Patsy, we're gonna come to you first. I'll let you answer first at this video. We're getting low on time. Gregory, you want to show the last video?
Gerald Jones.
God.
Girl. Other girls and suspects involved. Gordon?
Yeah, Julie, as far as we know, only one person, 22-year-old Oscar Luna, has been charged.
A disturbing story now developing in Bemidji, where a 22-year-old man is charged with sexually assaulting an 11-year-old girl. And as Gordon Severson reports, there may be other girls and suspects involved. Gordon?
Yeah, Julie, as far as we know, only one person, 22-year-old Oscar Luna, has been charged in this case. But according to a criminal complaint, the victim in this case told investigators that at least 4 men and 2 other young girls were also inside the home when she was sexually assaulted. We want to warn you that some of the details are disturbing. September 23rd, 2 in the morning, Bemidji police say they were called to the emergency room at Sanford Bemidji Medical Center. Officers spoke with an 11-year-old girl who said she had been sexually assaulted. According to the criminal complaint, the girl told investigators her auntie forced her into a car where men put a bag over her head and drove her to a house on American Court Northwest in Bemidji. The document shows once inside the home, this woman forced the girl to drink alcohol. The complaint says the girl also had a rope tied around her neck and wrists, and the girl told investigators that 2 other girls were also tied up next to her, and, quote, 4 Mexican men were in the room with them. According to court records, the girl says the men sexually assaulted her, and a physical examination showed several injuries on the lower half of her body. The girl told investigators she escaped after one of the other girls untied her, adding that the girl was then punished for it, with one of the men throwing her down the stairs. The complaint shows the 11-year-old girl gave investigators a detailed description of one of the men and the outside of the house. Police used that information to track down and arrest Oscar Luna. At the home, Bemidji police say they found 11 other men who have since been transported by U.S. Border Patrol to be processed as illegal immigrants. Bemidji police say it's an ongoing investigation. Luna is scheduled to appear in court on October 9th. Now, I have reached out to Bemidji police several times to get more information on this case with questions like, what happened to the other two girls? Will this auntie be charged in the case? And what about the other men? Will they be charged? So far, they have not returned our request for more information. Back to you.
All right, Gordon, thank you.
Participants left for any break for in.
So, again, it's some foul play going on, because I don't even think there should be a question. Should the aunt be charged? She should be charged. You basically, she should be charged. She basically
is an accessory.
She coerced.
She's the ringleader.
Let's
call her she's selling her niece.
She went and collected her and brought her into the situation. So you were selling her into the sex trafficking trade. So
that's what she did, sold her.
Yeah,
sold her.
This is not a good thing, and it sounds like she done it before, so she knew what to do to her niece. So what's to say that happened to those other girls that did not get away? They're probably already gone. Because they don't have no value.
One got thrown down the stairs, the one that let her loose. She got thrown down the stairs.
This is a terrible thing. You know what? Let me say this to you guys. Let me present this question to y'all. How do you feel about these sympathizers that say these pedophiles, they're not animals, they're not monsters. They're misunderstood. They're not criminals. They require counseling. They need help. They don't need to be incarcerated.
I'd like to ask them this question, those sympathizers. Had they did it to one of your family members, how much are you going to sympathize with them then?
Good answer. Sean?
Or if they're so trustworthy, let them move in your house. Let them be your butler. Let them work with your kids.
Sean, how you feel about those individuals that say that, those sympathizers?
I mean, they're just trying to have a heart of compassion, trying not to be judgmental, I guess. I don't share their same sentiment. I believe that every crime needs to be paid and every punishment needs to be dished out. Yeah, that's just my judgment on that.
Okay. Robert, how you feel about the sympathizers that say these people should be counseled, not incarcerated?
Well, then what they need to do is welcome them into their homes and allow them to stay there for a year with their children and them, and see if they do the same thing they did to the others. Go to work, come home from work, go back to work, come home from work. Keep doing your usual schedule, and then find out if your children's crying out with the same problems. Since you're so understanding, be understanding to open up your household for them people. I think that some people like just hear themselves sound like they have compassion for others, even if they did wrong in this world. But the truth behind the matter is they're just talking.
And Patsy, my apologies. I said I was gonna let you go first, but how do you feel about
You just forgot.
that situation? The sympathizers.
Well, I think those sympathizers got something wrong with them. If they're sympathizing with pedophiles and doing wrong by children and taking their innocence, it makes me wonder what you're doing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Bless you,
you.
bless you. Tanya,
Yes.
how do you
What
feel?
do I feel about those sympathizers? I'm more inclined to say what Passy said. It makes me wonder about you.
Okay. Duchess, what you got to say about that?
What do I think about people who sympathize with a pedophile?
Yeah.
Birds of a feather flock together, because there's no way that you can have more sympathy or empathy for the perpetrator and not the victim. So yeah, no.
All right, stay right there, Kiana. I'm gonna let you get you guys' final thoughts based upon this. So how do you feel about, again, the individuals to say, okay, these people have paid their debt to society, they should be able to come home and navigate through their communities without being ostracized, because you're basically infringing on their privacy by suggesting or making it mandatory for them to register as sex offenders. Your final thoughts regarding that, Kiana?
No, they gave up their rights for walking through the world without telling people who they are when they committed a crime, especially of that nature, because majority of the times they were repeat offenders who got caught. So no, you just can't walk through the world without having to announce your presence, because you took the innocence of children's lives and changed who they will be. You changed their futures. So you lost your future, period.
All right, well said. Patsy?
Nope, I agree with Kiana. Walking through the world, you lost that privilege when you repeated that thing. And I feel like you know that book, The Scarlet Letter?
Yeah.
You should be walking around with the scarlet letter on any piece of outer clothing, that especially your shirt or whatever. You should be walking around with the scarlet letter on your thing, saying what you are.
An announcement of their coming. Tanya, your views.
Just because you paid your debt to society for your first offense doesn't mean that your behavior has changed. And we have a right to know who's in our neighborhood that put our children at risk.
Okay. Timmy, your views.
Yeah, I think they should be ankle monitored and all that, and GPS tracking on them. But there's a lot of them that goes under the radar that's supposed to be damn registered or supposed to be kept an eye on, and they go jumping from house to house, so and then don't go and register, and then they don't really know when to pick them up unless they go and do something stupid. Then they pick them up on that. But they don't hold them accountable for it. Them dudes go in and be out the next day. They just want them to, they hold them there just for the 24 hours just for not registering, and then they let them go.
All right. Gregory?
This is interesting. You brought it up at the end because this is actually a real problem, and I think these people should be tagged when they come out of jail like the animals they are for the stuff that they did, because these people don't want to register and they're starting to change their faiths to the Jewish faith, and they're going to move to Israel because they don't have to register over there. And now, while there's a war going on over there, they're finding kids that's been raped to death. So this is a crazy epidemic that's going on right now with these people that don't want to register as sex offenders. They're moving out of here, going to Israel.
Crazy. And this is what I would say, let them be judged, trialed, and governed by those laws of those lands and see how well they fare over there. Sean?
I'm gonna put my spin on what Tanya said about, them paying their debt to society. Being registered as a sex offender is part of that debt that they have to pay because it's a law. And so you committed a certain crime. Yeah, you went and did that time, but your punishment for that crime is not finished just because you came from behind those walls. You now come out into society and fulfill the last part of that sentence that was put on you. So I have no problems with it. And I think it should be that because, we need to know that these people are around us, just like we need to know if there's murderers around us, thieves. I mean, I have no problems with it.
Well said, well said. Mr. Rimmich, you want to take us home with your final views?
To the parents, I feel you should pay more attention to your loved ones. Don't be so trusting in people that you barely know. For the people that went to jail for a crime of rape, child molestation, or any type of sexual abuse, if you're feeling uncomfortable when you get out because all eyes are on you, one thing you should remember, you're going to always feel that way because you gave up your norm the day you took someone's innocence from them or violated them. So the word that you should just keep hearing in the back of your head, I'll spell it for you, is ECCENTRIC, eccentric behavior. That's something you always gonna be looked at as unusual behavior. You're not gonna be trusted anymore.
Okay. Well, I want to just end this with a prayer. Ty, you got a prayer for the abused, for the victims, and for the parents that had to deal with feeling like they were helpless.
Your payday is coming up.
They couldn't help their children. Tanya, you want to take us out with a prayer? Everybody, please be quiet. Tanya.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. We are so thankful and honored, Father God, that we are your children and that you are in control over everything. I pray that you continue to watch over those that have been abused, Father God. Give them your peace and your comfort and your love, Father. And for those parents, give them the wisdom, Father God, to look after their children, to lead, God, and direct their children on the path that you set forth before them, Lord. And for those perpetrators, your justice is always right and true. It's complete. Your justice is complete for those perpetrators. And we just give you glory, honor, and praise, and thank you for being our Lord and Savior. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen.